नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। इतिपिसो भगवारहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसदम्म सारथि सत्ता देव मनुष्याणां बुद्धो भगवाति। नमो तस्स सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। ये च बुद्धा अतीता च ये च बुद्धा अनागता पच्चुपन्ना च ये बुद्धा अहं वन्दामि सपदा। नत्ति मे शरणं गण्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमङ्गेन वन्देऽहं पादपंसो वरुत्तमम्। बुद्धेयो कलितो दोषो बुद्धो कमतु तं मम। बुद्धं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। वाक्कातो भगवता धम्मो संदिटिको अकालिको एहिपस्सिको वपनायको पच्छत्तं वेदितव्यो विन्नुहीति। नमो तस्स नियानिकस्य धम्मस्सा। ये च धम्मा अतीता च ये च धम्मा अनागता पच्चुपन्ना च ये धम्मा अहं वन्दामि सर्वदा। नत्ति मे शरणं गण्यं धम्मो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमंगेन वन्देऽहं धम्मं च त्रिविधुत्तमं धम्मेयो कलितो दोषो धम्मो कमतु तं मम। धम्मं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो। यदिदं चत्तारि पुरिसयुगानि अट्टपुरिसपुग्गल एषा भगवतो सावक संगो। आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकेतं लोकस्याति। नमो तस्स अट्ट अर्य पुग्गला महासंगसा। ये च संगा अतीता च ये च संगा अनागता पच्चुपन्ना च ये संगा अहं वन्दामि सर्वदा। नत्ति मे शरणं गण्यं संघो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमंगेन वन्देऽहं संघं च त्रिविधुत्तमम्। संगेयो कलितो दोषो संगो कमतु तं मम। संगं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। विपत्ति पटिवाहाय सब्ब संपत्ति सिद्धिया सब्ब दुःखं विनाशाय सब्ब भयं विनाशाय सब्ब रोगं विनाशाय भवेदीगायुपदायक सब्ब लोकं हितत्ताय परित्तन्तं वनामहे। समन्ता चक्रवालेषु अत्रा गच्छन्तु देवता तद्धम्मं मुनिराजसा सुनन्तु सर्गमोक्तदम्। धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं बदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं बदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं बदन्ता। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा। एवं मे सुतं एकं समयं भगवा सावत्यं विहरति जेतवने अनाथपिण्डिकस्य आरामे अतको अन्यतरा देवता अभिकन्ताय रथ्या अभिकन्तवन्ना केवलकप्पं। जेतवनं वो भासेत्वा येन भगवातेनुपसङ्कमि उपसङ्कमित्वा भगवन्तं अभिवादेत्वा एकमन्तं अट्टासि एकमन्तं तिटाकोसा देवता भगवन्तं गातायाज्जबासि। बहुदेवा मनुष्या च मङ्गलानि अचिन्तयो आकङ्कमानसोत्तानां ब्रूहि मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। असेवना च बालानां पण्डितानां च सेवन पूजा च पूजनीयानां ये तन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। पटिरूपदेशवासो च कुब्बे च कट पुण्यता अत्तसम्मापणीदि च ये तन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। बहुसत्यं च सिप्पं च विनयो च सुशिक्षितो सुभाषिता च या वाचा ये तन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। माता पितुपत्थानं पुत्रदारस्य सङ्गहो अनाकुला च कम्मन्ता ये तन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। दानं च धम्मचर्या च नाटकानं च संगहो अनवज्जानि कम्मानि एतन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। आरति वीरति पापा मज्जपाना च संयमो अपमादौ च धम्मेषु एतन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। गारवो च निवातो च सन्तुटी च कटन्युता कालेन धम्मसवनं एतन्मङ्गलमुत्तमम्। Kanti cha sovacha sata samananam cha dasanam kalena dhamma sakhacha etang mangalamuttamam tapocha brahmacharya cha arya satchana dasanam nibbana satchikiriya cha etang mangalamuttamam Uttasaloka chittang yasana kampati asokang virajang kemang etang mangalamuttamam Etadisani katvana sabbatanga parajita sabbatta sotting gachanti tamte sang mangalamuttamamti Yetena Satchavajjena Sotino Hotu Sabbada Yetena Satchavajjena Hotuno Jaya Mangalam Yetena Satchavajjena Patuno Ratanatayan Sabithyo Vivajjantu Sabbarogo Vinasatu Mate Bhavatantarayo Sukhi Diga Yugo Bhava Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Vimina punyakam hena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavan bana patya idang me punyakam asavakayang vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamucchatu nibbana sampacchayo hotu. Sat, sat, sat. So today on this special occasion, Buddha Purnima Day. So, Full Moon Day is quite special in all Buddhist celebrations, in all Buddhist programs, because a full moon day is special for Buddha also, like his life events, they coincide with Buddha Purnima, his birth, then his renunciation, his say Mahaparinibbana, like say attaining the ultimate liberation, and his enlightenment. All these things happened on the same day, full moon days. Of course, his first discourse. So many things in his life, it happened on the full moon day itself. So in that way, so what is its spiritual significance? The moon, the full moon represents brightness. Brightness represents wisdom. The light represents wisdom. Instead of being carried away in the darkness or in the ignorance. So one should illuminate his mind with wisdom. So that is the indication of full moon. And what is its scientific, say, implication or its significance? You know, sun is like, say, on full moon days, because of the bright moon, because of the reflected sunlight of the moon, and also little closeness of the moon during these full moon days. It has some impact, they say, on the earth and the earthly beings also. Because of that reason, these waves in the ocean, you can see there will be a lot of disturbance because of full moon days, and you might have heard some people, those who don't have mental stability, they get affected, on their behavior will be a little more crazy on full moon days. So it has, though it's a physical force, it will have some impact on the earthly beings and even the minds also, to some extent. Of course, it is very, very minor, but still it has some impact. So on full moon days, because of that illumination, and to signify wisdom, the importance of wisdom, maybe because of that reason also, so we celebrate. Or Buddha's major life events happened during full moon day. After all, the very approach of Buddha or Buddha's teachings, Dhamma, It's all based on light, illumination of the mind. Buddhi means like illuminating the mind, brightening the mind, to come out of all the stains, all the ignorance, all the defilements of the mind, to make the mind bright. That is the very path, that is the very meaning of the word Buddha itself. So, because of that reason, and there is a beautiful correlation between the buddhi, the wisdom, the bodhi, the enlightenment, and the light. So, most of the Buddhist ceremonies, programs, and even the life events in the time of Buddha, everything coincide with uh, the full moon, and especially this May full moon or this Vaishak full moon. They celebrate in many Buddhist countries this day as Vaisak Day or Vesak Day, because this is like in the month of Vaisakha, the May month, Buddha's birth, Buddha's enlightenment, and Buddha's uh, his Mahaparinibbana, his liberation. Everything happened on this day, the same day, the May full moon day, the Vaishakha full moon day. Because of that reason, this full moon day, this May full moon day is very special. And so it's like celebrating wisdom, celebrating the victory of wisdom over ignorance. That is the indication of this May full moon day. Because of that reason, all over the world, people celebrate this May full moon day as Buddha Day, as Buddha Purnima, celebrated Buddha Jayanti also, because the birth is also very special. The life of the great people, the great beings like Buddhas. People call it as Buddha Jayanti. And because the three events happen on the same day, this full moon day, they call it as Buddha Purnima also. So that is the significance of this day. And some of our coordinators, they were asking me that that the topic on this day be like why we should have faith in Buddha, something like that. What is the significance or what is the importance of having faith in Buddha? Not just learning his techniques and trying to cultivate the mind. So even to orient or even to incline our minds towards Buddha's teachings, we have to have some liking, some interest in Buddha's teachings. So if you don't have interest in any damn thing, you can't plunge into it, you can't enter into it, you can't accept and learn and appreciate and go ahead in any kind of learning. So that is what is called actually the faith here in this case. Your inclination, your interest, your love, your devotion towards the Buddha, even if it is as a personality, we have a little bit of attraction towards Buddha, even to his personality. Then slowly, you'll start opening up yourself to what he says. And then your liking will become more strong, because initially some physical things will appeal, or initially maybe some of his greatness, the great things that he did, that may appeal generally to the human minds. Later, when that appeal has appealed on your minds, it has some significance on you, some impact on you, then your mind will open up. Then you start listening. Maybe a bit here, a bit there, something like that, you start hearing. And then your mind automatically, if you have some liking, will again connect all those points. Try to connect all those points. If you don't have liking or interest or faith, then you take something and you just leave it. And after a few more years, you will accept some more teaching and then you may leave it. But more the faith, more the inclination, more will be the learning, more will be connecting the different say teachings, and then getting overall comprehension, and then trotting in the path becomes like more say joyful, and it will start yielding the results quickly. And again, when you start getting the results, then your faith also will keep on increasing. So in that way, this faith has a great role, even to learn, even to uh, practice the techniques, cultivate the mind, purify the mind, mm, and to liberate the mind, and to derive the great absolute happiness. mm. So because of that reason, one should know the magnanimity, the greatness of Buddha as a person, and then his qualities. Personality, of course, it includes qualities. So knowing those qualities, mm, and then say there's something called these devotional chantings, or these protective chantings, which are prescribed, which are like recommended by all wise men, especially when you are like say dealing with the householders. For householders, faith is one very strong say it's a strong foundation, a strong grip, a strong link which will connect you to the teachings. So if you don't establish in the faith, then you can't connect. Then maybe some teaching of Buddha it may inspire you, then you may forget. Then you will be busy in so many worldly things. So if the faith is there, faith will act as again as some kind of force or at the back of your mind. It will always remind you. It will always put you. It will always trigger your mind about the teachings, about Buddha, about spirituality, about purification of the mind. That faith will act as a force. That faith will act as one kind of uh, say, warning or alarm that will always keep you that whatever you are doing, not to completely forget about your spiritual interests, your spiritual progress. Just like I used to tell, so in our meditation classes, keep this equanimity in whatever you are doing, keep this higher aspiration of liberation always at the back of your mind, equanimity at the back of your mind, mindfulness, always try to keep in whatever you are doing. So in the same way, the faith also one should keep at the back of one's mind, especially in the beginning stages. For that matter, everybody should keep some faith. Even the Arahants also they have a lot of faith in Buddha. Even Buddhas also have a lot of faith in Buddhas. Because that very faith, it will like say, it will make you alert. It will keep you in that state of alertness, not to fall into these worldly attractions. And then, of course, practice all these spiritual qualities like equanimity, like mindfulness, like higher aspiration of liberation. All these things can be kept at the back of the mind if the faith is at the back of your mind. So, for that sake, all these chantings, all these listening to Dhamma, or having that kind of connection with the lineage, with the right masters who are in touch, who are in connection with the Buddha's lineage, that will keep you also in the lineage, in the track. Though you may be at the very like say very lower level in the complete path, in the complete canvas of the liberation, but that very faith, whether it is lower level or higher level, it always keeps you in the track. Whether it is an arahant or an ordinary householder, doesn't know anything about Buddha's teachings, let us say, but still having some faith in Buddha as a person, Buddha as a quality, Buddha as the teacher, Buddha as a liberator, Buddha as an inspirer. So somehow if you have some faith Buddha or in his teaching, Dhamma, or in his community, Sangha, if you have some faith, then you will also fall in place. You will also say fall in this path. That is the uh, significance of having faith. And all these kind of religious ceremonies, religious programs, and even the meditation programs, though there is a lot of intelligence, understanding is required. Faith is actually one kind of higher understanding, higher intelligence. If you have right faith, you have right intelligence, you are into right view also. And alternately, if you have right view, then you will have right faith also. You will not become like proud, or you will not go astray. Many people, if the true intelligence is too much, there is a risk. There is a risk of uh, just ignoring the things, being puffed up with some ego and all. That is the risk. That's why many religious people, they are a little bit scared of Buddha's path, because it is highly intelligence oriented. That's what they think. But if you have right intelligence, then you have right faith also. You will completely fit into this lineage or this path correctly, finding out your place and you fit into that place, and you learn how to obey yourself to the people who are superior to you in this path, and how to take the people who are inferior to you, how to motivate them, how to inspire them, and how to pull them. All those ideas also you will get. So in that way, right faith triggers right intelligence, and alternately, right intelligence will trigger right faith also. So depending on the temperaments of the people, a right teacher, a good teacher will just correctly say, strike the card for the people who are like more of faith oriented, emotion oriented. For them, one has to strike this card of right faith. Those who are little, say, intelligence oriented, for them, right view, one has to say, emphasize, and that will trigger, that will strike the right chord in such kind of people. So, because of that reason, so taking up both this right faith and right view in a balanced way is the best approach. Some people will connect to the right faith, some people will connect to the right view, and when they keep progressing, both kinds of people, they start appreciating both these things, right faith and right view, the right intelligence and the devotion are, are fitting into the order, fitting into this lineage, fitting into this path correctly, knowing where he is, based on his abilities, his uh, say his mental attributes that he has cultivated, developed through faith, through intelligence, and of course through all these four faculties of the mind, cultivating them. One can assess those things if he has right faith, and then one will be quite humble and quite at the same time equanimous also, quite mindful also. You might have heard, many of you might have heard in many suttas, many teachings, in many Dhamma talks, always faith has been highlighted. Because once faith is very firm, then nothing will shake you. Faith moves the mountains. That holds good. That is true in this case also, in this path also. But it should be right faith. Now coming to this, what is right faith? That we will see. And of course, Buddha as a person, he talks about enlightenment. When you see the qualities of Buddha, qualities of Dhamma, qualities of Sangha, so everything is like say, the emphasis is on absolute liberation. That is one thing. Second thing is the complete canvas, starting from for an ignorant, illiterate layperson, and for all the say educated, and also for all the successful people, powerful people, educated people, successful in spirituality, even up to the arahants. The complete canvas of the path, the complete spectrum of the path Buddha gives in each and every discourse. If you see the discourses, many of the discourses, maybe the short, very, very short discourses, you may not see this complete canvas. But if you see some medium-sized discourses and all, Buddha gives the complete canvas so that everybody who are listening to the discourse, in some way or the other way, they could connect to it. Just like the one that I chanted now. One divine being, one Deva, he approaches Buddha and he asks, so what is the true blessing that the common people should think of? That way he asks, just for the sake of the multitude, he asks, as a representative of the multitude, he asks this question. And Buddha says that Buddha gives the complete canvas of an ordinary person, how he should progress in the path from whatever stage he is, whatever level he is, whatever condition he is in, whatever situation he is in, how he has to progress and how he should get the absolute blessing also by becoming an arahant. So in this very small sutta also, Buddha gives the complete canvas, complete spectrum. And that is why it is called having faith in Buddha is the right faith. Because whatever Buddha talks, he talks in a very integrated, holistic, complete, like starting from zero to infinity, the complete range he covers. That is what is one speciality or unique quality of Buddha that any person with some sense, some wisdom should appreciate, and then that very appreciation will connect him to Buddha, and then his faith levels will increase. Along with his faith levels, all other attributes of the mind, all other qualities, beautiful qualities of the mind, they start uh, being sharpened, being developed, being purified. So in that way, one will get the complete picture of Buddha's mission, and he will definitely fit into that. And he will not go astray, he will not go off track. Wherever he is, he may be a killer, he may be one great villain. Like people like Ashoka, they were like most violent people. Chanda Ashoka, he was called. He was called Chanda. He's so violent, so wretched. Like people like Angulimala, killing thousands, hundreds of people. Like a great dacoit, great bandit. And most wretched people, even the animals, many animals also. Of course, for the animals, Buddha could not. We haven't seen in the scriptures that Buddha could liberate the animals, but he could tame the animals. But for the humans and for the divine beings, this complete range approach of Buddha, wherever they are, just to know what level they are and what is the right thing that will trigger him into this path. From there he starts and he takes up to the complete liberation. Many spiritual leaders, many spiritual movements, many religions, to be frank with you, they're like say so they have their own limitations. Some spiritual movements, some great spiritual movements also, they can talk up to like say to become a good human, to become like say successful human by having faith in whatever teaching they are trying to say present. And some religions they may talk about how to be happy in here and happy in the next life by entering into heavens and all. And some religions they may talk up to how to become one with some kind of greater beings like Brahmas, the creator. The creator himself is called the creator God because they think and they, of course, that's what is their intellectual limitation. They think that's what is the ultimate goal. But Buddha talks about the complete stretch of how to transcend all kinds of impurities in the mind and how completely one can liberate oneself from these repeated births and deaths and very authoritatively enter into what is called the state of liberation. That is the uniqueness of all Buddhas, not just our Gautama Buddha. That is the uniqueness, that is the speciality of all Buddhas to teach, starting from like zero to complete emancipation, authoritatively, step by step, authoritatively, not being stuck in some stage like in the heavens or in the say achieving some by practicing some shila, getting some extra power, some strength, some true happiness, something like that. Many religious approaches are there, and some religions they talk about how to get liberation by becoming one with the Brahmas and all, or say, uh, like say in other religions, like becoming one with Allah or say God or Father or something like that. Hmm. And even in Jainism, how to become, say, they also talk about Arahant and all. But of course, they also talk about purification of the mind. And again, of course, it's not like a middle path approach. And again, it's like there is some limitation as far as our understanding. But Buddha gives the complete stretch of emancipation authoritatively, hmm, like very consciously. It's not like blindly becoming one with something else. It's very consciously becoming one with Nibbana or becoming emancipated. That complete range, complete stretch, complete canvas of the complete spectrum of progressing in this path of happiness, path of liberation, path of freedom is the essence of, or it is the approach of, it is the style of all Buddhas to liberate people. That's what. So the complete range, if you don't know, and the absolute goal you don't have, then whatever liberation process if the masters or the reformers take up, it will end up in some hodgepodgeness. That's how even in Buddhism also many sects who could not appreciate this complete path, who could not emphasize on this complete path, they become some hodgepodge sects even in Buddhism. But all Buddha's mission, it's not like that. So all Buddha's mission is to give this complete stretch, emphasizing on this absolute goal. So that's what is Buddha's mission. So in that way, if those things are highlighted, if those things are presented to the world, then only the right faith can be established. Otherwise, then like any other uh, sects, even the Buddhist sects also, they will lose that rightness. They will lose that fairness. They will lose that authoritativeness. That's why the corruption started and arhants, they're not seen in the present world. Like when Buddhas appear for some 500 years, the multitude of arhants that would establish because they stick on to these formulae, all Buddhas. They don't try to stay corrupt with some other shortcuts, customer oriented approaches where the audience needs something that I will give. With that approach, if Buddhas go, then they can't give the complete range, this complete canvas, this complete spectrum of a person, how to start his mind purification authoritatively in an integrated way, and holding on to that integrated authoritative approach of mind purification. Not handling bit here, bit there of the mental defilements. All the defilements one should catch hold of and one should start removing them layer by layer. It's not just trying to fix one defilement, the other defilement may sprout. So it is catching hold of all the defilements and erasing them authority. And then one will progress very, very, say, royally, very, very confidently, very authoritatively, and he can liberate himself and he can become an arhat. That's what is all these discourses they talk about. Buddha gives all these discourses with that intent, with that intention. That's why this, the faith in this approach for anybody, for anybody, for any human, for any divine being, this suits, this fits into and there is no risk of, say, falling back or going off track, because his approach is like integrated approach, correctly fixing the defilements in an authoritative way, an integrated way. Because of that reason, there is no falling back, there is no confusion, and also the complete range, and you can easily realize that where you are, and you can't be puffed up with any kind of ego if you progress a little bit, because you know the complete journey. Once you very clearly know the complete journey, once you reach it, then there is no place for any kind of even a bit of ignorance, bit of ego to arise in the mind, and there is no falling back. A bit of ego, bit of arrogance, bit of ignorance arise in the mind, then you completely fall back. You might have climbed up maybe hundreds of steps, but once these defilements arise in the mind because of wrongly catching or holding and fixing the defilements, because of that, if some slight ego, slight ignorance arises in the mind, then you start falling back and you start multiplying the ignorance and you start falling back again and again. So that's what is the problem with so many other religious approaches, where the path is not complete, the it's not defined properly. All the steps in the path are not defined authoritatively properly, and the ultimate end is also not highly highlighted, appreciated, realized. Because of these two reasons, the other paths, whatever faith they're talking about, they they may be more of wrong faiths or sometimes blind faiths also. So we have realized the Creator God. We represent the Creator God. So you represent me. You just go and do whatever I say. Destroy others who don't believe this path. Kill them. If this kind of approach you give because of your imperfect realization of the ultimate truth, you give this kind of imperfect or unwholesome knowledge to your followers, and that wrong hierarchy you establish, wrong order you establish, and that will create more mess in the world rather than creating more peace, more freedom, more happiness. It creates more mess also. So that's why that such kind of faiths are called wrong faiths. So here the right faith, the absolute goal should be completely defined, completely realized by at least a few people after following the person who realized it, the founder, the teacher. And then it should be completely defined, the complete path should be defined with each, say, milestones or each stepping stones also should be completely defined. Complete emancipation has to be correctly defined. Then it becomes, and if you promote that and people start developing in that authoritative right approach of getting the true happiness, true peace, true liberation, true freedom by correctly purifying their own minds, not believing in this something beyond this mind. I surrender to it, that will never work. That is what is again one powerful message of Buddha, the mind centeredness. It's not completely being carried away in the physical excitements, sensual excitements, thinking it does happiness, or getting carried away by this imaginary soul-centered happiness, the soul becoming one with some other supreme soul, and not working on your own mind. That is again unique. Making person to dependent on his own abilities to purify his own mental defilements. That's again one right approach of liberating the mind, making the person to derive the true happiness within himself. If this kind of right approaches, the right path with these right approaches, and the right goal, the right end where you achieve, where you reach, which you achieve. Those things are not clearly defined, and the people won't develop. And if people don't develop in this, then there is a risk of people falling into the trap of wrong approaches, wrong paths, with the wrong goals, the wrong uh, unauthoritative goals. And that's how we can see the mess in this world. In the name of religion, in the name of happiness, in the name of peace, in the name of freedom, in the name of divinity, in the name of religion. All the mess is because of having wrong faith in wrong views. But here, if you have faith in this right view, where this right view comprises of these 4 points I told you now, the right approaches, the right path, the right goal, and the right role models like the Buddhas and his Arahants. If these things are there, these 4 things are there, then you can say that this is the right say approach and the right path and the right goal and the right community, right people, right teacher. So these 4, 5 things, then without any doubt, you can have the inclination, the liking, the eagerness, learn, to progress, to serve, to surrender, to devote yourself. All that is possible. And that's what made me to devote myself to this path completely. So I gave up every other damn thing which used to corrupt this path and corrupt, say, this approach. In the name of Buddhism also again, and of course in the name of religion, in the name of freedom, so many other paths I just experimented and I gave up. And in the name of Buddhism also many things, many people trying to corrupt me in so many things. Again, I had to give up. And I go standing alone is little bit like say fearsome in the beginning, but once you are very firm with these 4, 5 qualities of this path, then these very qualities of this path will be your major attraction, the major attraction for you to progress in this path. You don't bother about whether people are there with you or some people are not there with you. You don't care for all those. Don't bother for all those. You trod your path authoritatively confident. That's what happened in my case. If that in that way, if you think that, so you can develop right faith in this right view of Buddha, then definitely you can take up these paths, develop the complete and surrender to this path, devote to this path, then you will not go after, you will not fall back. That's my assurance that I can authoritatively tell you. So that is about, I think, the importance of uh, this day, the Purnima day, because this Buddha established uh, Sangha. I mean, of course, on full moon days he established, but on this day, the 3 major events: his enlightenment, his emancipation, and his birth. All these things happened. So, so now if you see these different chantings, and even the chanting that I chanted now, as I was telling you, in all these small discourses, which are called the protective chants or protective Parinta Suttas, protective chants, you can see, as I told you, the complete range. Here in this Mahamangala Sutta, when this divine being he came and he asked, so he says, so just avoid the foolish people who are having these wrong views, wrong beliefs, wrong faith. Huh? So I have come with the right view. So just because I give the complete all these 4, 5 points. So have association with this right view, the people with right view. That's what is the clarion call given by Buddha in the very first verse itself. That will become a great blessing for you. The hodgepodgeness, confusions will go away from your mind, and then your mind will protect you with a firm commitment to the right view and the right association. And Panditanancha Sevana and serve and be in association with and also serve and you please them. Who? The wise people. So the wise teachers, the wise people, you serve them, you please them with your service, then you will get their association. Puja Chakunya, respect the respectables. This is again one more important point. People out of some hypocrisy or maybe out of some selfishness, they try to respect a very damn fellow, a very hypocrite. Then what happens? So whatever you respect, even artificially, even with some hypocrisy, then slowly, the person whom you have respected, his qualities will start overpowering you. And you will also become like artificial or hypocrite, and you will again miss the track. You will also go off track. So puja chakujaniya means you have to learn how to respect the respectables. Then only you fall in place. Then only you fall in the path. You will not go off track. So these three things are very, very powerful. Avoiding the people who are having wrong faiths and wrong views, who are not having this complete range of the path of liberation, who are not having the faith in this complete range of liberating the mind, who are not having this mind-centered middle path approach of liberating the mind and getting the absolute freedom. If these things are not there, then avoid such people. Even though they claim as great religious leaders or spiritual leaders, or even so many people who claim that they are following Buddha, and a lot of corruptions they bring in their teachings, in their lifestyle, in their behavior. So one should be little careful in watching such people and avoiding the company of such people, and cultivating the company of right people, wise people, Pandita, wise people, by serving them, by pleasing them, and then respecting the such respectable ones. So these things, if you practice, then you fall in place, then you fall into this right track of mind purification and liberation. So that is what is the first 3 points Buddha highlights in this. So this will make anybody to like say just think about this. Even an illiterate person also he see there is some sense in this. This very first 3 parts. Definitely, people with some sense, definitely they open up to this and they keep listening to the next verses, the next points that Buddha talks about. And in the same way, Buddha talks about one should have, so one should be quite skillful in what he is doing, in what he is working. One should keep learning many things as for all householders that he holds good. One should take care of the parents, take care of the family, and the blameless professions one should take. So all these things are blessings, great blessings. Etan Mangala Muttam, they're all great blessings. And one should Dhanancha Dhammacharya, one should not be stingy. Stinginess is on the biggest hurdle. That is actually the first and the most powerful hurdle in the scripture. One should be like the opener, should have some free hand. Always closed fist is like minds also will be closed. If you close your fist, the minds also will be closed. Then how can you expect mind purification, liberation, true happiness? That's why Buddha insists, Dhanancha Dhammacharya. Be generous, don't be stingy. That is the first step of spiritual practice, generosity. And then Dhammacharya, practicing this moral precept, morality and all, and taking care of some dependents and those who are around you, those who are in need, helping them whenever they need some help. So in that way, avoiding this any unmindful things or anything that make you unmindful, make your mind dull like this, Majapana, like this, taking intoxicants, and Appamadochandam, always being alert. So these things are great blessing. So in that way, so all this complete range is Buddha talking about. This faith and right association, say serving the right wise people who can take you into the right path correctly, and respecting the respectables because they're respectables because they've understood all the qualities of this right path and they have embraced that right path with absolute confidence and absolute skillfulness. That's why they are respectable. Correcting yourself, respecting those respectables, and then quite skillful and efficient in your learning, in your activities, in your professions, and taking care of, like developing your compassion, your kindness to people around you, being grateful to the people who helped you, like your parents and all, directly and indirectly, the people who are helping you, like your family members and all, to take care of them, help them, and other people who are around you, like friends and relatives, and being little generous, not to be stingy, because whatever you give, you get back. This is again one of the aspects of right view. If you have right view, then you stick on to this law of cause and effect. Whatever I give, I get back. So that's what indirectly Buddha is teaching in all these good qualities that you are developing, including this dana, shila, brahmacharya. It's like shila, the right way of living, and keeping your mind alert and calm and say not blurred or not say be clouded by these intoxicants. So that kind of things again talking about the mindfulness, meditativeness, alertness. So you see the complete stretch Buddha is talking about, starting from an ordinary person, for an illiterate person also, huh? And quite frequently listening to this kind of things and having a lot of patience and then slowly becoming more, say, mindful and more meditative, practicing meditations, and if from your meantime now and then practicing brahmacharya also by taking 8 precepts and all, uh, and in that way becoming an arya also, being in touch with aryas means like this Svatapana, for those who have seen the glimpse of nibbana, and then finally not being distracted by the loka dhammas. When somebody praises you, being excited; when somebody blames you or teases you, being depressed; when you have profit, exciting; when there is loss, completely being depressed. So all these kinds of the opposites. uh, so these things, if you learn how to remain calm, how not to be disturbed by these worldly disturbances. That means like becoming an arahant, an authoritative arahant, by completely becoming equanimous to all these things. So that is also a blessing. In that way, Buddha gives the complete range of blessings, starting from say, serving the wise people, something like that, the teachers. From there, how to handle the profession, your life, your people around you, how to be grateful to the people whom you have to be grateful and respectful to the people whom you have to be respectful. Starting from there, then giving the idea of this law of cause and effect. If you give, you get back this dana. And then the shila also, there is a lot of giving actually. Giving up your defilements. You're not killing, you're not stealing. It's like you are giving up your defilements of greed, hatred, and all these things. And then how to become meditative, mindful, and practice anything that will add up to your mindfulness and alertness, and avoid those anything that will say come in the way of mindfulness or alertness, like these intoxicants and all. Then how to develop patience, how to develop say more intelligence by learning these things, this dhamma quite often, quite regularly. Then how to, by practicing more penance, more meditation and practicing brahmacharya, how you can become arya also, like how you can see the glimpse of nibbana also. And then not only seeing the glimpse, authoritatively becoming an arahant by completely stabilizing your mind with lot of equanimity towards these worldly disturbances, praise and blame, happiness and suffering, profit and loss, success and failure, all these worldly dichotomies, worldly ups and downs, how you can remain equanimous, balanced. That is the state of absolute. If you achieve that absolute state of equanimity, of not being affected with these worldly vicissitudes or worldly ups and downs, worldly disturbances, and that is the state of an arahant. So, in that way, he gives the complete, say, this canvas, this spectrum of to progress in this path and getting liberated. So that's what is actually the finer qualities of all the Buddhas, and that's why having faith in Buddha becomes the right faith, because of this completeness, because of this authoritativeness, because of this absolute clarity, because of this absolute wisdom of liberating. And of course, there this cause and effect understanding is also there, and this mind-centeredness is very, very unique. Cause and effect is a little bit there in other some sects of other Indian religions, but this mind-centered is absolutely unique to Buddha. Middle path and mind-centeredness is absolutely unique. Because of that reason, whatever faith you have in this path becomes a right faith. So the other suttas, like there are so many suttas people recommend to listen to that and then try to understand that and try to progress accordingly in mind purification. So something like this Ratana Sutta, something in there also Buddha gives the complete range of mind purification only, which will suit to the people with so much of say expectation. The majority of the audience they expect so many things, worldly things also. Like this Ratana Sutta was chanted when there was no famine, when there was famine and drought in one place in Bihar, in Vaishali. Then Buddha, of course, he again highlights the importance of mind purification and having gratitude to the higher beings who are protecting you, like the divine beings, and all these things, seeking their blessings, being not to be arrogant, not to be proud, being humble, being respecting the respectables. All these things, when he teaches and when it is taught in the form of Ratana Sutta, and having, of course, absolute, say, surrendering, absolute devotion to Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, which represent all these things, and also the complete canvas of liberation and happiness, and surrendering to that kind of complete path of happiness, not cultivating the defilements in the mind, ignorantly, arrogantly, greedily, hatefully. So these things, when it is taught, when the minds are purified and humbled, then automatically whatever say things they are to be bestowed by these divine beings, like the rain, like all these things that happen in that place, Vaishali. So in that way, so all these discourses or these suttas or these protective chanting, they have this complete range of say, practicing this mind cultivation, mind purification, and mind liberation, absolute mind liberation. But all those factors, all those qualities that will take you to this absolute mind liberation, they are also properly, authoritatively, correctly, situation based, they're explained in all these discourses, which will help each and every one of us to connect in some way or the other way. That's why all these discourses, they definitely imbibe a lot of faith in the listeners, and somewhere according to their ability, they could connect to this, and they will not fall down, they will not fall back. They can correctly fit into this, and they can keep progressing. So all these suttas, so they have that complete message, beautiful message, very authoritative message of mind purification with right view and this mind centeredness. And as many of you are learning, this how this cause and effect, that also correctly learning. Based on that only, this dana, this shila, everything is designed. Whatever you give, you get back. And this art of giving up, that is what is again the essence of Four Noble Truths. Craving and wanting is the cause of suffering. Giving and giving up is the cause of happiness. That's why you learn this art of giving. That is very much embedded in this, in all these teachings of Shraddha, Dana, Shila. So they are very much highlighted in all these discourses. Because of that reason, again, should listen to this kind of discourse. The mind is so much complicated. Sometimes it gets illumination, and again, because of the external influences, negative people, negative influences, again it gets corrupted. Again, you should come into this, say hospital or this kind of say, the place where you get again some cleansing. In the hospital, the germs and the infections are removed. But in this path, the germs that will infect your mind, they are removed. You get infected from the world and you get the problem to the mind, the corruption of the mind. So once you enter into this path, the germs of the mind, the infections of the mind, the corruptions of the mind, they go away to some extent. In that way, slowly you can fit into this purification path more authoritatively, and you can start reaping all the say benefits, all the right results, right fruits. So that is what is the importance of right faith in right view. And again, some discourses they're completely like right view based, like this Paticca Samuppada. That is also one protective chanting. And there is Dhammacakka Pavatana Sutta that we will see during this July full moon day, when Buddha gave this Dhammacakka Pavatana Sutta. So that is also a protective chanting. And there are so many other protective chantings like this Metta Sutta, Kanda Paritta. Here all these things, though Buddha talks about. So one of the qualities like Metta, you should thoroughly fill your mind with this compassion, with loving kindness towards all beings. For the sake of developing your mind, for the sake of purifying your mind. So with that intention, if you cultivate this loving kindness, then automatically all other benefits of loving kindness, all other benefits of compassion you will get. You will not be bitten by the poisonous snakes. You have that absolute loving kindness and compassion in your mind towards all beings, not just selectively giving this metta to a poisonous snake. Of course, selectively you can give, and then you can give to all the beings. May all beings also be happy. Then you will be protected by that snake more authoritative. In that way, making these feelings also more universal, more authoritative, more purity centered, mind purity centered. So those things again highlighted. Along with that, Buddha talks about have inclination towards Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, surrender to Buddha, Dhamma. Because in all this Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, he's highlighting your ultimate goal of complete emancipation of Dhamma. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, they represent this ultimate goal of complete emancipation of the mind. Coming out of these rebirths, nonsense of births and deaths. So that should be always at the back of your mind. So then you will be always humble and you will always have faith towards Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And then automatically all this loving kindness, compassion, all these things you develop. Dana, generosity you develop. Service you develop. Service centeredness, service mind you develop. Rightly respecting the respectful, aspiring for the right association. All these things automatically you develop. That way, Buddha, though at one situation, one may be the problem. Like in this Kanda Paritta, some bhikkhu was bitten by one snake and he died. And then Buddha, he talks about how to cultivate this loving kindness, radiating this loving kindness to all beings, specifically and also to all the beings. And also he talks about having faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha authoritatively, and that having faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha is nothing but having faith in the liberation, the Nibbana, the absolute goal. So in that way he could relate any situation, giving an appropriate, very, very immediate solution to that, and relating it to the ultimate goal of life, and motivating each and everyone to work on their own mind. That's what is the beauty of this Buddha's approach. That's why it's called the right view approach. And if you have faith in this right view approach, then it becomes right faith. Okay, so in that way, other one, this Paticca Samuppada, one, so Avidya Pachaya Sankara. So, and then Pancha, Avidya Pachaya Sankara, Sankara Pachaya Vijnana. So many wrong views, they say Vijnana, this your consciousness is ultimate, and the consciousness is corrupted by your Sankara. That's what they say. Consciousness is very pure, but it is corrupted by a lot of your defilements. That's what is many philosophies, or say the religious beliefs in India. But Buddha says even that consciousness to arise, your ignorance and your defilements are responsible. Avidya and Sankara, they lead to your consciousness, your Vijnana. Vijnana itself is not pure. Vijnana itself is not the part of one universal consciousness. So whatever Vijnana, whatever mind, whatever consciousness, whatever awareness that you are thinking that it is permanent, actually that is also impermanent. And that comes because of your ignorance and your defilements only. Ignorance rooted defilements like your greed, hatred, and delusion. Because of that only your consciousness also arises. If something like consciousness is permanent, then people will start believing in the universal consciousness, the universal God and all. Then they ignore about purifying their consciousness, and they simply surrender to some imagined universal consciousness, and they try to surrender to it. Then this purification aspect of the mind that will be ignored. That's why it becomes a wrong view. But Buddha says this consciousness is not permanent, universal consciousness is not at all there, and your consciousness is dependent on your own defilement. So if you work on your defilements, your consciousness can be purified. Lesser the defilements, lesser the ignorance, your consciousness becomes more and more pure. If the ignorance are zero, your defilements and ignorance is zero, then consciousness is also zero. Then that is what is liberation. That's why working on the mind, working on your defilements, working on your ignorance, that is your sole duty. That way, so Buddha's emphasis is there. Because of that reason also, this is right view. And if you connect to this right view, then it becomes right faith. So, to summarize this talk on this right faith in right view on this special occasion with the Purnima day, so develop your love, your respect, your inclination, your faith, your confidence in this right view. Right view is again, of course, many of you have learned it is very simple. So this all these Buddha's teachings, they have this right view. So what is that very unique of Buddha's teachings, which you can call it as right view? It's a complete path, and it's a mind-centered path. Complete path is one thing. Mind-centered, which is very, very unique. Nowhere you can see this. You have to work on your own mind, purify your mind. That is the path. That is mind-centered. Not just getting carried away in the sensual happiness, or not get carried away in this some imaginary things like some pure soul, pure supreme soul. No, work on your own. That is one unique thing. And because of that reason, you have to have faith in this. And then there is absolute clarity of the ultimate goal, and always highlighting the ultimate goal. Because of that reason also, if you develop faith in this, and then all these things, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and the correct representatives of this, they always at the back of their mind, always these four qualities of this right view is always there. Because of that reason, you connect with them, respect them, listen to them, serve them, and that becomes again the right faith. And once you enter into this kind of right faith, then all other things, all other blessings like dana, shila, bhavana, dhammasavana, listening to these kind of things, and meditativeness, learning these different kinds of meditation. We have series of classes are there from July to October in different languages, in 4 languages, 4 levels, level 1 to level 4, online classes. Then, of course, we will see offline classes also. And then the Pali language classes, we are going to learn from next week the Pali language through the scriptures and also with some grammar. Again, when you start learning these scriptures through Pali, then lot of Dhamma you can imbibe. And again, you will be into the right track of this right view. And then automatically you develop right faith. So in that way, you should keep progressing bit by bit this right view on with right faith. And according to your, so there is one word here in this Mahamangala Sutta. Your previous purity also, whatever you have cultivated from the previous lives also, that will also come into account. In this life also, how much authoritatively you are having that faithful efforts, faithful, skillful efforts to purify your mind. All those things will come into picture and you will progress in this path. Whether it is slow or fast, never mind. Focus on what you have to give and give up and what you have to do to purify and to progress in this path. That is good enough. So there are so many things that we are also planning, skillfully presenting it to all our devotees or say, people who are having some interest in this. We are doing our best, and if you also join the hands, then you will of course learn the best things, and also other people also you can tell and you can encourage them. That will also become a punya. That's also one mind purification thing. Not only we learning, we encourage other people to learn these things, participate in these things, and then appreciating those who are, instead of many people, they don't participate in these things because of the fear that other people will simply say blame them or say condemn them or tease them. That is again very, very wrong. That is one very, very say great evil that you are doing towards others. Appreciating, encouraging. So that appreciating is also very important. So these 3 things, if you do, then it will be an authoritative way of again fulfilling your parmis and your punya also, merits also you are fulfilling correctly. What is that? You practicing all these things, meditations, all these Pali learning, or so many other courses that we are doing. And the second thing, encouraging others. It is the second level of merit. You are accruing the merit and also fulfilling the parmi. And the third level is like being appreciative of all these things, not allowing your mind to develop any kind of jealousy or any kind of competition or any kind of ill will. So try to be more appreciative, that mudita, that appreciative mind to develop. That is the third level of say accruing merits and fulfilling your parmis. That is like purifying your mind. So again, these things will firmly put you into this track, and you establish in the right faith, and you start by learning the right view. Again, more authoritative. Okay, so in that way, I wish all of you to progress and resolve yourself again and again. Of course, many times, many resolutions, they're like bubbles. They arise and very next day they will give up the resolution. But no problem. Then you get some kind of motivation, resolve, And again, if it burst out, or if you lose that motivation, it's okay. Again, there's a possibility of coming into this kind of disclosure, this kind of talks, this kind of programs. And again, you will get some kind of motivation. Let it happen several times, no problem. All the time, always you should be highly spirited, highly motivated. It's not possible. Let it happen bit by bit, frequently or regularly. Let this motivation happen. Let this resolution happen regularly. Even though it is bit by bit, then slowly it will become a permanent resolve, or one stabilized resolve. Then progressing in this path becomes more authoritative. Okay, so I think this much is enough. I don't want to bring in any other kinds of complete some kind of emotional glorifying of the person of Buddha or any other thing. Simply, I want to make it how this faith is right faith, because of these 4 or 5 special qualities of Buddha's teachings and Buddha's missions, all Buddhas, and how it becomes the right faith, not just any kind of ordinary faith, or blind faith, or wrong faith, how it becomes an authoritative right faith, and how this right faith and right view they go together, and how you can cultivate these things, participating. So we have created this platform, CRVM, more and more participate in all these programs, and also encourage others, also appreciate those who are participating in these things. Then you will definitely fit into this path very authoritatively, very correctly, and you progress in both right faith and right view. And now we take up this small blessing program, or this sharing the merits, Punyanamodana. Some of you have accrued merits by taking up some meritorious actions like dana, and of course all the other merits also you have accrued. And all these merits, now we want to share it with your departed relatives. That also we will do now. And those, of course, by 2 o'clock we have closed this Punyanamodana registration. This merit making we closed, and those who have wanted to, some of you are asking, you wanted to participate in this Punyanamodana. Again, Sunday also, Dhamma talks also we can have. So you can again make merits, and you can participate in the next Punyanamodana. Those who missed these 2 days, this. So we are closed by 3 o'clock itself, because we wanted to compile and we want to have some deadline for this. So that because of that, but some of you they were asking. Again, you be in touch with our coordinators and you can participate in the next Punyanamodana. Now, those who have made merits, and then their departed relatives, they can share the merits. Now I'll just read out the names of the departed relatives for some of these our upasakas and upasikas who made these merits. And then I will just chant this Punyanamodana. I think you just repeat after me by remembering your departed relatives, and that's good enough. This water pouring and all, it's not possible because of many people. So you just, in your mind only, you just imagine them, and you just wholeheartedly, with complete faith, complete offering mind, complete gratitude, you just share this, whatever merits that you accrued by making these merits, just share those with the departed relatives. Okay. So Kaduba Arjun Khairnar, in the name of Yashoda Arjun Khairnar. Sirisha R, in the name of Kameshwar Rao Lakshmi. Vijay Balakrishna Ranpise, in the name of Balakrishna Ranpise. Subhadevi Ranpise, Ashok Ranpise, Ahudabai Ranpise, Shankar Kambli, Shanta Kambli, Dhyanesh Kambli. Rupali Moon in the name of Prashant Devidas Patil and Jagadish Moon. Tejaswini Gautam Gosavi in the name of Gaurav Gosavi, Prashant Bhagat, Sandeep Bhagat, Prakash Bhagat, Pranit Bhagat, Uddhavrao Bhagat, Satyabama Bai Bhagat. Dilip Shivaram Yadav in the name of Shivaram Vithu Yadav, Janaki S. Yadav, his parents, Jayavant Shivaram Yadav, his brother. Sylvia Raves in the name of Maria Coraz, Janos Albert, Gabriela Silly, Laszlo Raves Jr., Joseph Barna, Paul Molnar, Geza Stenke, in-laws Karoli Orban, Eva Blanca. So in their names. And then Ashok Ramteke, in the name of Sri Arun Kumar Ramteke, brother, and Sri Anand Kumar Ramteke, again brother, their name. And Devender, in the name of Narsaya, Somamma, Anita, Pochaya, Anjaneyulu, Nimish, in the name of Jeevan Mohadikar and Shashikala Kale. Virendra Pratap Pal in the name of Vishnu, Babban, Rajpati, Nandalal, Sahodara, Kanhaiya, Shiv Shankar, Dayaram, Virendra Kumar. Sangita Bankar in the name of Tanbaji Devgade. Manav Parekh in the name of Jyoti Arvind Parekh. Rohit Kota in the name of Pakala Raja Reddy and Kota Ramesh Reddy. So just remember of these departed relatives and be grateful. So all this punya sharing, especially with the departed relatives, it is with some gratitude and also of course with some compassion wherever they are. So let them share these merits and let them progress in the onward journey, upward journey of mind purification and liberation. With that wish, you just repeat whatever I say. This merit sharing. So then you will come. You just repeat after me. Akasata cha Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Sasanang Chirang Rakkantu Desanang Chirang Rakkantu Mamparang Ethavata cha Ammehi Sambatang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Anumodantu. So here those who are in this Zoom meeting, before of you, I think you can. Those who are confident of repeating, you can repeat. Just on your audio and you can repeat. Ethavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya nibbana sampatti siddhiya idang no nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang no nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang no nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Sabbe buddha balapata pacchekanam chayang balang arahantanam cha tejena rakkang bandami sabbaso sabbe dhamma balapata arya satchanam chayang balang dhamma chakkassa tejena rakkang bandami sabbaso sabbe sangha balapata vimuttanam chayang balang sasanassa tejena rakkang bandami sabbaso imina punyakam nena mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya idang me punya khamang asava khayang vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamucchatu Nibbana sampachayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sukhi Hotu, Mangal. May all of you progress in this right faith and right view. All of you derive the true happiness, true health, and true peace of mind. So that is the message on this Buddha Purnima day. Sukhi Huntu, Mangal Ho. So all of you can join these Pali classes. It commence from next Monday. The last date is like say, so 12th or I think 12th is the last date. So in this Dhamma Prism also you can send that Google forum link. All of them, they can register at the earliest. Earlier is better. It's like 5 months course. Definitely you will learn Dhamma more authoritatively. And also you will learn this Pali language. And thereby you can learn the Dhamma in the original language, the Buddha's language. That is the idea. Then all of you attend these Dhamma talks also and these meditation courses from July to October in different languages. Encourage others and appreciate those who are in this path and develop this mudita, karuna and metta by doing this service of promoting these activities, enrolling, encouraging others. You also first you enroll the Pali classes also. Okay, that is again our announcements on this special occasion, Buddha Purnima. Okay, Chalo, Mangal. May all of you be happy, healthy, and peaceful. All beings also be happy, healthy.